the politics of the GNU, the politics of having the three spear organizations not agreeing with each other only strengthens the people that we call the GNU. Should they be fighting? Of course, they shouldn't be fighting. The fight between MK, ANC, and EFF, all of them affects what we call the, well, of course, without ANC, the Progressive Alliance in Parliament. So this Progressive Alliance is UAT, ANC, ATM, EFF, and MK. So these guys have grouped themselves to make sure that they fight for the unity of those who did not go into government of national unity. I have lamented a lot on this podcast talking about how I feel that black parties always tell us they want to unite, but when the chance for them to unite comes, they don't unite. I am always at pains trying to understand, why can't these black parties unite? Who should unite them if they need to unite? Is it because they have the same funders? Because to me, if the EFF, MK, and ANC are funded by the same people, toppling the ANC is the same as there's nothing you can do about it, because the agenda will be set by whoever pays. Remember, I spoke to Professor Siposiep, and I asked him this question, that this GNU could have been replaced by three spear organizations, ANC, EFF, and MK. They combine their 66%. They run government of black people. And he said what I suspected. It depends who pays them, because whoever pays them dictates to them what is it that they should do. We are always thinking of things in layman's terms. There are bigger political, I don't know what to call them, bigger political sacrifices that happen at the background than what we see at the foreground. Because I gave an example, a party like MK, who must give it money? Because it's a black party. Who must give it money? Don't tell me the members. It's unsustainable. It's unsustainable. This is a question that I've been asking for many months here on the podcast. And I'm always waiting for people to come and advise us who must fund black political parties. Because if they do not fund, the people who say they support them, if they don't fund them, who must fund them? And can black billionaires fund black political parties? Chances are they won't, because remember, if you are a billionaire, it means you are a beneficiary of the very same political system that made you a billionaire. You are a beneficiary. So you can't elect people you can't give money to people into power whose sole intention is to decolonize and revolutionize the bread that you are eating on, and without any guarantees on your part. These three organizations, they always tell us they want to topple everything, they change everything. We do not have real banks that are that take our own interest. We do not have these banks. They've been preaching them before they took power. We do not have these banks. We do not have state institutions that are hell-bent on working on township-specific issues. We've been crying about spaza shops in townships. These townships were only given a guarantee by Ramaphosa that we will work on it. Can I get a shout out? Justin, shout out, Justin. So I don't know. I feel like it's one of the most futile things you could ever imagine of. You look like the Equatorial Guinea guy. Hi man, behind the dog. It's just I'm wearing different colors. I can't let me take, but if I take off my glasses, I can't read your text, man. This guy says I look like the Equatorial Guinea guy. I'm innocent of such things, by the way. So I'm generally worried about politicians. I think they know. The politicians, they know that this thing will never happen. They will never fight, win, and topple the guys that always say they are white monopoly capital. They always sell this as, these are white monopoly capital, will topple them. Like how? Because we are fragmented. They need to bring one political party into one house. We spoke about how Zuma did not want to join EFF. He wants EFF to come and join them. Let's say EFF does go and join MK. Because I feel if these people really want to unite, then EFF has no qualms but to go and join Msholozi there. Because he's bringing the bigger numbers. He comes in, joins them. If he does join them, who pays these political parties? Who will pay them? Because we did not win anything in 94. Because we do not have black millionaires. The black millionaires and billionaires are beneficiaries of the system. And I don't want to repeat myself. Are beneficiary of the system. Let me read. So the Ground Force podcast says, to be honest, it's us black people who rent them. Please tell me, what do you mean when you say we rent them? Do we rent these political parties or or what? Because I don't understand. Maybe you are saying it's us who are giving these political parties a segmented view. Let me give you another example. You know, Musi Maimane. I bet Musi Maimane knows that voting, opening Bossa will just equally segment the vote. But these people do not want what we think they want. They just want, it's like a job. It's a job for politicians. It's a job for them. They have to wake up and do a job, come back home and get salaries. But because they know there is no way any African political party can, by itself, take over government. They know it's not going to happen. And in fact, I even suggest that they are paid to make it not happen. There are various ways that you could see, but you can't prove it, unfortunately. But these black political parties, they know they are never going to get anything going. No one is ever going to topple white monopoly capital because they are the one who's got the finances. These fights that we are seeing, it pains us as African people to see African parties, the biggest African parties, ANC, MK, and EFF, three spear organizations. They do not agree with Aja. They tear each other apart. In their personal capacities, they are friends. But politically, maybe they are paid to have different views. Maybe they are paid not to agree with each other. Maybe they are paid to connive behind someone's back. to eat away another political party that grows. It's possible. It's possible. So there are people who were saying, no, Mashian, MK was the best idea. Well, it's fine. And I agree with you because the numbers does dictate that MK should then swallow the other parties. But collapsing Winnie Mandela House in Sandton, a dream that is 11 years old, cancelling it out and go and gamble with MK. And if things don't agree, do they have leverage to come back? It's a tall order. That's why I'm saying, why do political parties open political parties when there are other political parties that have the same mandate? The simple answer is they do not want to lose their power. They do not want to lose the control of the finances. And the more it continues, the more we lose out as African people. We're going to preach, and unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it because we do not have money to pay our political parties. Funding an electoral campaign is so expensive. 10 years ago, ANC declared that money to be $1 billion. That's 10 years ago. ANC said they spent $1 billion. So you can imagine if they spent $1 billion 10 years ago, how much, and they were in power, how much would you want to spend just to topple government? These political parties spend millions in filling venues. You ask yourself, these millions they are filling venues, like the spectacular failure, I'm going to call it failure, of the EFF of not achieving the numbers that they were looking for after having filled lots of stadiums. Moses Mabhida, for example, they did terrible work in KZN, even though they looked like they were reaching for bigger heights. Mashiane politically incorrect. I just wanted this to be a short one. Let's leave it there. I think I've read all your messages. I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna ask you to comment on the limestone. I'll comment back. Just tell me, these fights between these three guys will obviously make GNU very strong come 2026, and these guys will not have a challenge. The GNU will not have a challenge because even the ANC will say, but these guys are fighting. They're not even fighting amongst themselves only. They're even fighting against us. So what's the difference if we are fighting within the GNU? Because that's what the ANC will argue, that going back to DA, it will be the same thing because these guys are fighting anyway by themselves. So I don't see any way that this thing could be improved. Machine politically incorrect, let me leave it that. I think I've done enough. I just wanted to be short so I could engage you. You could tell me what is it according to you that you feel must be done. Because I see no way. I want to be honest with you. I see no way this government and its sponsors could be toppled. Well, you could replace ANC with something else, but the people behind the government, who are the oligarchs and the white monopoly capital, they can never be toppled. You can't topple them. It's not doable because they fund everyone. And whoever will emerge with that ticket will immediately be controlled. So now it's a fight for who can I put out of number one so I could be number one. I could siphon all the money for myself. Machine politically correct. Let me leave it at that. Thank you. Bye.